Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand. These old and dirty pennies might look ordinary at first glance, but hidden beneath their worn surfaces are shocking stories and unbelievable value.
Imagine holding a tiny, old, dirty 1945 wheat penny in your hand, maybe found in a jar, in your pocket, or buried in your grandfather's old collection. But what if I told you this 1945 wheat penny could actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars, depending on one small error? Because the U.S. Mint in 1945 made a handful of rare and shocking mistakes during production. These pennies slipped past inspectors, escaped into circulation, and today, they are some of the most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies ever made. 1945 double die obverse, DDO, value, $1,000 to $150,000 plus. High-grade examples can break six figures at auction. 1945 double die reverse, DDR, value, $800 to $50,000. Strong DDR examples in MS60 plus condition can reach $40,000 to $50,000. $1945 repunched mint marks, RPM, value, $50 to $10,000 plus off-center strikes value, $300 to $25,000 plus. The more off-center, the more valuable. Coins 40 to 80% off-center with visible date fetch the highest prices. Double-struck pennies, value, $1,000 to $50,000 plus. Double strikes that are rotated or misaligned are highly collectible. Broad strikes, value, $250 to $5,000. Clipped planchets, value, $75 to $3,000. Wrong planchet errors, value, $100,000 to $1,000,000 plus. These are extremely rare and often sell for over $1 million at auction. How to identify your 1945 error penny? Look for doubling, shadow marks, tilted punches, or repunched mint marks. Look for doubling or distortion on 1945. Off-center or missing rims equals broad strike or off-center strike. Standard, 3.11 grams. Different weight equals wrong planchet equals huge value. Check Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and wheat stalks for visible cracks.
Imagine digging through an old tin box in your house, or going through your parents' old coin jar, and suddenly discovering a tiny, old, dirty penny from 1955. The 1955 era wheat penny has shocked the world, stunned collectors, and created millionaires. This tiny copper coin carries one of the most famous mistakes in U.S. mint history, and some versions of this error are so rare that collectors will fight for them at auction. The 1955 Lincoln wheat penny was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. No mint mark means it was struck at the main U.S. Mint facility, a busy year filled with high production demands. Metal composition, 95% copper, 5% zinc and tin. This classic copper color gives wheat pennies their beautiful warm tone that collectors love. The 1955 double die obverse DDO, $100,000 for high-grade certified red specimens. Theoretical max auction estimate, $1 million plus. 1955 off-metal error struck on the wrong planchet. Highest grade examples can push $150,000 plus. Off-metal strikes are extremely scarce and highly coveted. 1955 off-center strike, ultra-dramatic 60 to 90%, $8,000, $15,000 plus. 1955 double-struck errors, spectacular strikes, $15,000, $40,000 plus. 1955 die-cap error, $5,000 to $30,000 plus. 1955 broad strike error, high grade, $1,000 to $3,000. 1955 clipped planchet errors, double clips, $3,000 to $5,000. 1955 struck-through errors, major struck-throughs, $5,000 plus, real auction prices that shocked collectors. Here are real results: $12,000 AU55, $30 to $1,000 MS64, $48,000 MS65 red, $78,000 MS66 red, $114,000 museum quality example. Experts predict the highest grade 1955 DDO could break $1 million at the right auction. How to check your 1955 penny? It must be 1955, no mint mark. This is the strongest doubled area. The doubling is dramatic and obvious. Errors may also appear on the wheat stalks, clips. Have you ever picked up an old, dirty penny and thought it was worthless? But what if I told you that a tiny 1950 wheat penny hiding in someone's junk drawer today could actually be worth millions of dollars? Because in 1950, the Denver Mint produced a handful of extreme error pennies so rare, so unusual, and so shocking that coin collectors around the world are still fighting over them today. The 1950 wheat penny belongs to one of the most iconic series in American numismatics, the Lincoln Wheat Cent, minted from 1909 to 1958. These coins are famous for their historical value, classic wheatier design, and most importantly for being home to some of the most valuable mint errors in U.S. coin history. 1950 Double Die Obverse DDO. Value: $1,000 to $150,000 plus. A perfect high-grade DDO can pass six-figure values easily. 1950 Double Die Reverse DDR. Value: $800 to $60,000. DDR pennies are harder to find and extremely valuable in high grades. 1950 DRPM Repunched Mint Mark. Value: $50 to $10,000 plus. Strong RPM with visible separation. The strongest RPM is in mint state grades, can exceed $10,000. Off-center 1950 D pennies. Value: $500 to $25,000. Broad strikes and no rim errors. Value: $200 to $5,000. These happen when the color fails and the coin expands outward, double struck or triple struck errors. Value: $1,000 to $50,000 plus. If the strikes are off-center or rotated, value multiplies. Wrong planchette errors. Value: $100,000 to over $1 million. A 1950 D penny struck on the wrong metal can reach $1 million or more at auction because of extreme rarity. How to identify your 1950 D error penny? Thick, spread numbers equals valuable. Use magnification. Wide and distorted, missing rim. Could be broad strike or off-center. If weight is not normal 3.11 grams, it might be struck on a foreign planchette, a jackpot coin. Imagine holding a tiny 1953 D wheat penny in your hand. Old, dirty, forgotten, maybe even pulled from a jar of pocket change. Because hidden among the millions of 1953 D pennies minted in Denver are a handful of rare, shocking, mind-blowing mint errors so valuable the collectors go absolutely crazy trying to find them, so stay with me until the final second. Because the 1953 D wheat penny sitting in your home right now could be a life-changing jackpot. The 1953 D Lincoln Cent was minted during a period of explosive economic growth in America. Demand for currency was extremely high, and the Denver Mint was under pressure to produce coins fast. 1953 DDDO Double Die Obverse. Value: $1,000 to $150,000 plus. High-grade examples with bold doubling can reach six-figure values at auction. 1953 DDDR Double Die Reverse. Value: $800 to $40,000 plus. A strong DDR is extremely valuable, especially in red or red-brown mint state condition. 1953 DRPM. Value: $50 to $10,000 plus. The strongest RPM is in MS66, MS67 condition, can bring $5,000 to $10,000 plus. Off-center error 1953 D pennies. Value: $300 to $20,000 plus. A dramatic 70% off-center 1953D with the date intact can sell for over $15,000. Double-struck 1953D. Value: $1,000 to $50,000 plus. Some double-struck coins from the early 1950s sell for tens of thousands. 1953D broad strike errors. Value: $250 to $5,000. High-grade broad strikes with strong details bring premium values. Clipped planchette errors. Value: $75 to $3,000. Wrong planchette errors. Value: $100,000 to over $1 million. The rarest and most unbelievable category. A 1950s wheat penny struck on a dime planchette once sold for over $400,000. So a dramatic 1953D version could easily reach seven-figure value. How to identify a valuable 1953D error penny? Look for doubling, shadows, or tilted punches. Use a jeweler's loupe or macro lens. Thick or spread numbers equals potential jackpot. Missing rim equals off-center or broad strike. A normal 1953D penny weighs 3.11 grams. If you're going through an old jar of dirty pennies, dusty, brown, forgotten for decades, and suddenly, one ordinary-looking 1944 wheat penny could explode your bank account like a jackpot. Because some 1944 wheat pennies aren't just rare, they are unbelievable minting mistakes, millions of dollars. Some of the most valuable ones were dirty, worn, and circulated for years before anyone realized what they truly were. Some leftover 1943 steel penny plankets accidentally got stuck inside the machines. So when 1944 penny dies were loaded, a few pennies were struck on steel plankets instead of copper. That accident created one of the most famous, rare, and valuable coins in American history. Below are the top rarest 1944 wheat penny errors, each one capable of selling for unbelievable prices. The 1944 steel penny. 1944 steel penny Philadelphia, sold for $408,000. 1944 steel penny, sold for $1 million plus. 1944D steel penny, the rarest, a specimen sold for $1.75 million. 1944 copper penny, massive die break cut, $10,000 to $25,000. Collectors love these because each one is unique. 1944 D over S mint mark error to $1,000 to $10,000. 1944 double die obverse DDO, $150 to $15,000. 1940 for broad strike-o, or off-center strike, $100 to $7,500. These errors happen when a coin is struck without the collar or is misaligned. Over 50% off-center, WITH full date, $5,000 to $7,500. Very dramatic and highly collectible. How to identify the $1 million 1944 penny. If your 1944 penny sticks to a magnet, it could be the $1 million steel version. Steel, 2.7 grams, copper, 3.11 grams, check for D over S RPM, double mint mark, extra metal or breaks. Look for doubling. Use a 10x loupe. Any major abnormality increases value dramatically. A teenager found a 1944 steel penny in a family coin jar. It sold for $408,000. A collector discovered a 1944D steel penny at a flea market, later authenticated for $1,750,000. A worn-down, dirty 1944 steel penny sold for over $100,000, even in low grade. These stories prove one thing: never ignore old coins. Even the dirtiest wheat penny could be worth a life-changing fortune.